Hello, Charlotte and Mary. How are you doing tonight? Well, tonight I'm going to read to you another story from the Bible. This one is called Son of Laughter. It says, "Years passed, and things didn't get any better. People were still just as cruel and mean to one another. They still got sick and died. God's world was still full of tears. It was never meant to be like this, though. But God was getting ready to do something about it. He was going to make all the wrong things right, and he was going to do it through a family. Abraham, God said, how many stars are there?" God was about to tell his friend a wonderful thing. So Abraham looked up at the sky and said, let's see. Now, have you ever tried to count the stars? There are a lot of stars. It's really hard to count them all. In fact, it's impossible. But that's what God was trying to say. And Abraham just kept counting. But then God laughed and said, guess what? I'm going to give you so many children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren that you won't be able to count them either, because they're going to be like the stars. There'll be lots of them. Now, Abraham couldn't help but giggling at such a wonderful idea. How could he have a family? Don't be silly. He didn't have any children, let alone grandchildren. But then he wiped away a tear. Anyway, it was far too late for him to have any babies at his age. He was 99 years old. So he was confused. What could God mean? But God said, Abraham, believe me. And then God told Abraham his secret rescue plan. Abraham, I will make your family very big, God promised, until one day your family will come to number more than even all the stars in the sky. Abraham looked up at the big, dark night sky, thick with stars. God said, you'll be my special family, my people, and through you everyone on earth will be blessed. Now that was a pretty incredible promise. God was going to rescue the world through Abraham's family. One of Abraham's great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren would be the child, the promised one, the rescuer. Now Abraham thought, it's just too wonderful. How can that be true? But God asked, is anything too good to be true? Is anything too wonderful for me? No, of course not. God can do anything. So Abraham trusted what God said more than what his eyes could see, and he just believed God. Now when Sarah, his wife, heard God's promise, she just started to laugh. But it wasn't a happy laugh. It had tears in it. She'd always wanted a baby. Could it be that her dream was finally going to come true? Could she really have a baby when she was 90 years old? No, of course not, she thought. Don't be silly. It's just too late for her. Sarah didn't believe God could do what he promised. She had forgotten that God was the one who said something and it was done. Anything God says is done. Of course, it was easy for God to give her a baby because he can do anything. And sure enough, 9 months later, just as God had promised, Sarah gave birth to a baby boy. They named him Isaac, which means son of laughter. And Sarah laughed, but this time it was a glorious, happy laugh. Her dream had finally come true. God was going to do what he promised. He would always look after Abraham's family, his special people. And one day, God would send another baby, a baby promised to a girl who didn't even have a husband. But this baby would bring laughter to the whole world. This baby would be everyone's dream come true. And that was going to be Jesus. Now there's Abraham and Sarah and their little baby Isaac. That was a good story. Well, I hope you girls have a good night. I love you and I miss you. And I'll see you soon. Mwah!